Good morning, everybody. Trust you're doing well. My first year out of school, I did my first year's Bible college in Joburg. Now, I'd been on the south coast from primary school right through to high school. I was a surfer, I was in the water every chance I got. Getting from point A to B those days meant on a bicycle. I thought I was fit and strong. Everything revolving sport was part of what we did. We were active and outdoors all the time. Now you can imagine when I got to Joburg, all of a sudden I thought there was something wrong with me. I'd climb a flight of stairs and I'd get out of breath. And this thing called altitude hit me in a big way. Now the car fundies, the guys that are clever about car engines and so on, say that a motor vehicle loses at least 16% of its performance, of its power between sea level and altitude, like up here in Gauteng. And all of a sudden, it takes a lot more energy to produce the same amount of activity in altitude as it does at sea level. I've heard so many psychologists talking about this season that you and I are living through, and they've been talking about the emotional impact of living through lockdown. They're saying it's as though people are feeling punch drunk. Now, punch drunk is the term for when you're not quite concussed, but you've been hit to the head too many times that your brain is kind of bobbing around inside your skull. You're feeling numb, you're feeling unable to compute and to make decisions and actions as clearly as you used to. They're even saying it's as though people are walking around a little dazed. I want to encourage you by reading this scripture in Hebrews chapter 4. Verse 14 tells us, "Therefore, since we have such a great high priest who has ascended into heaven, Jesus the Son of God, let us hold firmly to the faith that we profess." It says in verse 15, For we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weaknesses, but we have one who has been tempted in every way, but is without sin. Now I want to say to you this morning that Jesus, because he came to earth and lived as man, understands the human condition. He is not a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses. He was tempted in every way as we are, but without sin. My encouragement for you and I this morning is, even though you might be going through a tough time, it feels like all of a sudden altitude has been switched on. It's as though you're 20% having to put more energy in just to get the normal job done. It feels like you're walking in treacle. It feels like you have weights around your legs and your brain isn't thinking as fast, and your heart definitely isn't as robust, as strong as it normally is. Well, that's the world we're living in this season. It's tough, yes. But I've got good news for you, that Jesus understands. He is aware and he is sympathetic to what we're going through. He understands from going through these things himself. Verse 16 says, "Let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive mercy and find grace in our time of need." This morning I pray that you and I, because we know Jesus understands, we can go to him with confidence and get that promise that we would receive mercy and grace in our time of need. God bless you.